Hello everyone, it's Whitney. Welcome back to my channel. Today I have 4 farmhouse home decor DIYs that were really fun, and actually one of them was a happy accident. We'll get to that when we get there. But let's just jump in. Our first project is going to be this little tag. I got this tag here at Dollar Tree. Now it says that's chalkboard on the front, but it's not. But anyways, I got this a little while ago. Now this little guy here is a custom hand-painted little canvas. My sister painted that. Now I did add something to it, but I did get artist permission, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But look how cute it is. That is one of the smallest canvases that you can get, a stretched canvas from Dollar Tree. So I sent those to my sister and I said, hey, can you paint me some cute stuff? I like farmhouse. So she sent me back that piece of cotton and I fell in love with it. So anyways, now see that little thing there? Of course, I showed you briefly. We're going to save that because that's actually one of our, I think that's our second, it will be our second project. So here, the paper came off kind of easy. So we took off the front. I used a spackle knife. I'm going to sand down the paper, what's left of it. It's not too important to clear this completely off, but I am going to paint one side of it. So here, struggling with it, I was like, Whitney, why don't you get your heat gun? Get the heat gun out, guys. Watch this, like butter. Did you see that? That was awesome. Use a heat gun. It's wonderful. Or even a hair dryer or something to warm it up because it just comes off so much easier. Now I'm going to take this brown craft paper. Also, I got at Dollar Tree. It's just you can find that in like the school section or where they keep their mailing envelopes and stuff like that, shipping supplies. It's just brown craft paper, and I think it makes the back look very, very finished and nice. So that's what I do with most of the signs. If I'm using a Dollar Tree sign, I will cover the back in craft paper. Now, since this was a little tag here, after we're cutting this off, I want to make sure I get all the little corners and pieces out. And then we're going to sand down the edges to get all the extra pieces that weren't exactly cut, you know, as nice as we want them to be. But in any event, use your sander, get those edges off, and then use this little desk vacuum I am addicted to. I'm telling you guys, I purposely make messes to use it. Anyways, moving on. Here's a very threatening crafting shiv, also known as an awl. Now, this one's not available. I got it on Amazon, if you guys even care. I got it on Amazon, so there are ones you can get. There's one in my Amazon store should you want it, should you need one. But you can find those pretty much anywhere, so I just made the whole look nice. I didn't want it to look all weird. So back to the front, we are using, that is what I still have a decent amount of that, home decor. It's chalk folk. Oh my gosh. I'm going too fast because I'm super excited. Calm down, Whitney. It is folk art, home decor, chalk paint. I don't know the color of it. It's white. Just go with white. So if it says parchment or cream, don't do it. So then this is also now, I'm leaving it wet. And I also, if you notice, I did a very, very, splotchy job. I want it to look farmhouse. I don't want it to be clean or crisp or anything. So I did a very patchy job of the white. Now I'm going over it with that is Waverly Antique Wax. If you are a brand person, it's Waverly Antique Wax. And then now I'm going back over it with a little bit more white. That's the same paint that's in the big jug to the left. I just have it in a little tiny plastic cup because it's way easier to get to for like dry brushing. So once you get all that weathered the way you like it, we're going to take that cute little canvas my sister made me, and I'm going to attach it to the front of the sign. So I want to make sure that I have it fairly even. So I am going to get my cute little pink ruler, because she's pink. It's so cute. Get my cute ruler out. I'm just going to, you guys, I'm not a math person, but just make things even. You don't have to measure. You don't have to make things precise, because remember, I think beauty lies in the imperfections. But for this one, I kind of needed it to be a little bit even because we're only going to put some embellishments on the top. Now, to hide most of the canvas sides, I don't think you necessarily have to do this next step if you don't want to, but I think that rope that I'm going to add just adds a tiny little bit to it, makes it more farmhouse. And this was just, actually, I think this is a piece left over from a pumpkin that I made last year when I covered one of those Dollar Tree foam pumpkins in and that's Dollar Tree nautical rope. So I just had a little piece left over, and don't worry about the tape on the top because we're going to cover it with a bow and some really cute, leafy greens and more bows and ribbons and things, oh my. So I'm just lining the side of the canvas with it, and I'm leaving it together. I'm not unraveling it because I think the thickness of the rope is actually lending to the project. And the way all this came together just made me so happy. Like, my sister made this for me because I told her, make me some things, paint me something, because my sister is a very gifted painter, drawer. She's got that part of the artist in the family. I'm good with, as you guys saw my couple videos ago, was my first time leaving my comfort bubble and actually hand painting something. But again, that was just letters. That wasn't an actual like item. I can't draw. If it's a solid color, I will paint it. But my sister's got that gift, so she made me this cotton ball, and I love it. Now the only thing I added to it here, oh by the way, I'm taping this rope before I cut it. So I'm going to tape it in the middle, and then I'm going to cut it in the middle of that tape, and that keeps both ends from unraveling on you. Just a quick tip, because man, does that stuff unravel on you fast. And don't worry about the tape showing, because again, we're going to cover it. So if at any cost you can leave the tape on. Oh, I'm putting that jute cord back on it. That's the same tie that I cut off earlier. It's just going to be a little bit shorter. And then half the time, you guys, when I use these things, and of course I'm out of focus. Bring it back in frame, Whitney. Thank you. I never really put them back on. Oh, look how cute. This is Dollar Tree ribbon. They're coming out with some cuter and cuter stuff. So that other little small spool is their farmhouse ribbon. It's like a ticking pattern. Now for this one, I wanted to make the loops about as wide as the actual tag is. So you'll see me fold it over, I think 2 or 3 times. And then I squeeze it and I make a little idea. I was like, okay, that's my bow. And then I'm going to bring it back down and unravel it, because that's what you do when you make a bow. You completely take it apart and then make it again, because why? Yeah, anyways. Who knows what was happening that day. I'm super excited for this one. These were so much fun. And I'm talking so fast. It's just like, the words are coming out of my mouth. At some point, you guys probably won't even understand me anymore. Feel free to mute and just enjoy the view, because this is a cute project. Now, I'm going to just squeeze that floral ribbon right in the middle. And I'm going to fluff it a little bit, because I am nothing if not predictable when it comes to bows, guys. I can't not fuss and fluff them. So here I'm taking 2 loops each. So I just pulled it and looped it between my fingers, and then I'm going to cut off the other tail. But of course, I'm going to cut, I cut a piece of jute from the Dollar Tree jute twine bundle, and I'm just cutting an extra piece. It doesn't have to be jute, guys, but since this is showing, make sure it's something that complements your, your project. Unless you're sure you're going to cover up the middle, then, use whatever you need to. Even a zip tie would work. But here I'm just going to mess with the bow a little bit. I'm going to kind of pull it a little bit, make sure the loops are as, kind of even, not too even. And then we're going to cut the tail off, and we're going to attach this bow to the top. Now, I didn't want to put too much on it because I don't want it to take away from the canvas. But I can't get over how cute those little cotton balls are. They're so cute. And that little black ticking right there, I added that with a fine tip Sharpie. I just mentioned to my sister that you kind of can't tell where the cotton actually is, and I got her permission. I said, this is my idea, would you mind if I did that? And she said absolutely not. And then once I showed it to her, she loves it. So I did get artist permission before I did anything to her canvas. But my sister did paint this, and I'm just in love with it. This is already in my craft room, and I look at it, it makes me happy. It's those things where, this is why we do this stuff. It makes us happy. It brings you joy. This is your style. Whatever makes you happy, run with that. If there's a color or a style or anything, go with that. And I just talked completely through me making that little jute bow. So I just wrapped that jute around my fingers about 8 to 10 times. Usually it's about 8 for a small bow and 10 times for a larger bow. And then again, I wrapped another piece of jute through the middle and tied it. Glued that to the center of my bow. So here now I got my junk bucket out, because if you can't figure out what to do with it, chuck it in the junk bucket. Know what I'm saying? Chuck it in the junk bucket. So my junk bucket's here, and I'm looking for kind of softer greens. I don't want any bright greens. I want them to be more muted, like this eucalyptus or Dusty Miller or lamb's ear, those types of soft greens. And I'm just going to kind of tuck the greenery around the ribbon. We're going to just add to the sides and the top here, and I'm just going to let you sit back and let you guys enjoy the process. This thing comes together just a little bit, just seeing me cut the ends off of most of the leaves that I have here. I didn't take anything from a bush. This is all just from extra pieces that I had in that extra bucket. So if I have little tiny remnants of things, I keep them. And even this rope was in there earlier when I found it, because it was such a small piece of rope. I'm not going to tell you never throw anything out, because that's kind of dangerous, but I kind of don't ever really throw anything out. But these little pieces come in handy when you're doing these smaller little projects. If you have a bigger arrangement or a bigger item that you've made and you only have 1 or 2 sprigs left, cut them off of the bush, put them in a little bucket, and then just go through your bucket from time to time. If you don't want to get out of control and your bucket ends up being, a 5-gallon bucket, and then we got an issue. But just something small. And in this case, it came in handy because everything I'm using here was extra pieces that came off of other, bundles or other projects that I had leftovers on. So it's just kind of fun to see how it comes together and to see how these things end up complementing each other when originally they had never even been even thought of for any kind of project. So, oh, and I guess, here I told you I'd let you sit there and watch, but these top pieces kind of looked a little bit too long to me. So what I did was, out of frame, of course, I cut them in half. So I'm cutting the end pieces off of them and making them just a little bit smaller. And then I'm going to go ahead and tuck them in on the top. So you can't really see the top of this tag anymore, I've noticed. And I was saying, Whitney, don't overdo the arrangements and the bows. Guys, I have always done this. I always go overboard with arrangements and bows, and I make them way bigger than I ever intend to. But it always turns out being so cute, and I end up liking it. So it's like I can't be mad at it, but at the same time, it's like I completely drowned out the fact that this is an actual tag-shaped sign. But it's okay. I mean, if you turn it over, if you're one of the nosy folks. Now, see, there I had some reindeer moss, but that was too green. So I went and got my Dollar Tree. I like to call it a bag of sticks because if you guys saw my last video, I pulled out like 8 sticks out of one of those things. So in any event, and then you'll see later on in this video that I found a new bag with more sticks in it. Anyways, moving on. I don't even know if I pull a stick. I'm going to laugh if I pull a stick out of this one too. So I'm just going to tuck the Spanish moss into these places because, again, it complements those softer greens. It complements basically anything farmhouse. And if you want it to be just a little bit rustic, a little bit country, a little more farmhouse, add some Spanish moss to it. And even if it's a brighter spring color, I have a really pretty bright green Spanish moss that I get at Hobby Lobby. And I think it just turns out, look how cute it is. And my sister loves it. Again, I got artist permission to add those little Sharpie lines to the outside of it. But that cotton just makes me so happy. It brings you like into a feeling of just a warm, cozy farmhouse kitchen or, living room. I have this in my craft room so that I can see it and I look at it. You guys everybody puts stuff on their desk or you put things on your table. Well, my workspace, other than here in my office, is my craft room. So those things that make me the happiest, they're in there with me. And they'll be there with me year round. I've got Halloween stuff in there that I like to look at from time to time, even though right now it's the middle of May. So in any event, make it, do it, and keep it where it makes you happy. But look how cute those stems are and the colors, and then her use of the cream and the shading. I love it. I absolutely love this little canvas idea. And it's not just like, it's just an alternative way to display some art. Because you could do this with one of those bought canvases too. It doesn't have to be a handmade painting. All right, guys, so here's number 2. Now, this is me using the same tag as before. And you'll see here I have 2 of those pieces that we pulled off the front. So 2 of those pieces, and then I've got this, they're square wooden beads. I got at Dollar Tree just recently, a wood bead garland. I have not seen these. And of course, they're square beads. Made me even more intrigued because I have a bunch of regular wood beads from Amazon. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little sandwich out of these. So I'm going to get my wood glue out, and I'm going to have a little bit of a problem. What I wanted to do was I wanted to keep them on that strand and just glue it down and make it really super easy for myself. But it wouldn't turn the corners. The corners on the square right there, it just didn't look good. It didn't look right. So I'm turning the beads on the ends on each corner upward so you don't see the hole. And then every other bead in between those corners, you're going to see me put flat. So you'll see the pattern emerge. It's not that hard to follow. You'll see right here. I'm just putting wood glue down. I did not use anything but wood glue since we're gluing wood to wood to wood. Nothing's been painted. It's all solid wood glue. And then here I'm going to just kind of make a small little adjustment. So there is some leeway. Obviously, wood glue doesn't dry that quickly, so you have time, which also means once you glue all these down, you're going to have to leave it for, I left mine for a day because I just kind of did this and moved on to the next project until it was time to start painting. So just cover the entire square outline with your wood square beads. So I only had a few left, so it wasn't too bad. That one item there, was the perfect amount, literally. And if you want to, you can use those leftover beads for feet, but I didn't. So I put another layer of all my wood glue on top, and then basically I turned it into a fake ice cream sandwich. Doesn't that look like an ice cream Guys, I can relate anything to food. Please let me know I'm not the only one out there. Like if someone's like, oh, it's cold outside, I'm a little chilly. I'm like, I like chili. Anyways, more again, yeah, I'm scaring you guys. So the next day I take my clamps off and I'm looking at it. Now these are the little feet that I've bought. They're finials. I get at Walmart in a pack. You can buy finials from Amazon. You can buy finials at Hobby Lobby. I've got this little pack from Walmart and I really don't know. I think I have 2 more packs. You guys will see me use those. I'm just trying to figure out if I want to use the bigger ones or the smaller ones. And I have decided that the smaller ones are more complementary to my project. So I'm going to put half and half side on wood glue. And I'm going to put a little dot here. You see half this side wood glue, half this side wood glue. And then I take my glue gun and put a little bit of dot of glue right in the middle on each side. And that's how I put all 4 of those feet on. And then these I didn't have to cure because I did use a combination of hot glue and wood glue. So the hot glue is holding them on right now. And look how cute. It still looks like a hot ice cream sandwich. I mean, I'm telling you. Here's where the project goes a little astray. So I wanted to do that baking soda idea, but I've seen people do it with dirt. And I'm like, okay, I have this big bag of candle sand. This uses what I used to use to decorate the inside of some of my candles. I cannot tell you how much I poured in that bowl. Now this is a little tiny mini thing of Waverly chalk paint in the color Mineral, which I have a big jug of it. So I just poured this whole thing in there because I'm like, you know what? I don't know how much this is going to make because I'm using sand. Now the idea is it's going to look like concrete, right? It should look like concrete and it should look really cute. So I'm mixing and mixing and mixing. I end up having to put more paint in it. And I'm like, this is turning into, it's kind of thick. So let me go get the Big Daddy jug. So there's the bigger jug because the baby jug wasn't enough. So I add some more chalk paint in here. And then I was, Whitney, you're using a lot of product for this little tiny like riser. So I'm trying to show you here. I'm making oatmeal. So my idea is in order to fill the cracks in between, I'm using this. This is a Junker paintbrush. I don't care about this. I got this in a pack of like 20 or 30 paintbrushes years ago. So don't use anything you care about or if it's really, really nice. So I'm just using it to kind of scoop most of it and put it into the crevices and into the creases. Now I did originally, I'm going to be honest with you, I tried covering the whole thing and it did not work, but it worked out exceedingly on the sides here. Now look at that, guys. Look at those edges. Doesn't it look like stucco or it looks like a weathered piece of like stone? I love the way that turned out in the creases by the beads. So here I'm just taking my regular paint and I'm going over the whole item. So I'm painting the top, the bottom, and the feet, but then I'm also painting over my beads. And then I'm grabbing a little bit more because there was a little hole on the side that I hadn't got the first time. So after that's all painted and dried, look at that. That's all dry. That's the first coat, 2 coats of that, and that's all dry. I love how it looks on the edges. And guys, this is a solid piece. Those pieces aren't coming out and the sand's not coming out of it. If you were to touch it, nothing falls out. I mean, and you know what I'm going to do next, guys. That's my folk art white chalk paint. We are going to distress the daylights out of it because it has the cutest texture on the sides. I need to highlight that with a bright, crisp white, and it makes me happy. And I don't know why, guys, I am drawn to putting grays or this mineral color with white on it. It's like, if you look back at my channel for like my last, or the previous videos to this one, my last 5 or 6 videos, it seems like I keep doing this mineral color with white on it. So I'm drawn to this for some reason. This is just like what's making my soul happy. I don't know why. This farmhouse is, it's just making it fun. I want to keep getting back into my craft room. So there's all the dry brushing. Really, that's all I did was dry brush the sides, the top, the bottom. And then I did 2 different directions, so it almost kind of gives you a plaid feel. But guess what? We are going to put a rub-on transfer on here because I can't just leave it alone. So this little black and white butterfly here, I couldn't help it. Now this little botanical, it says Botanical Paradise. Yeah, this is a decor transfers. I got these from Amazon. They are such good quality. I think I paid maybe anywhere from $8 or $12. I can't remember off the top of my head, guys, but I use this in an Easter project. If you guys remember, you can go back and see. I go into more detail. They are listed in my Amazon shop should you want some, but literally cut out what you want to place on your project, take the backing off, push it down. It doesn't necessarily stick, but it kind of does, depends on your surface. And then you use the little burnishing tool that they send you in the package, and you are just going to rub completely as hard as you can. Now, don't damage anything. I mean, you're not putting on so much pressure you're going to damage it, but you can tell once it starts to live off that paper. Then you take that plastic piece off, and then you rub on the top of it, and you kind of like rub over that. Almost gives it like a polished effect. And there you go. Now, I didn't put any wax on this item because I'm not going to be placing this in an area where it's going to get a lot of use. But you could use a furniture wax or some sort of decor wax over it. Look at those sides. Look at the way that sand dried in there. That turned out to be a happy accident. Now, I wanted the whole piece to look like it was stucco, but it did not work out the way I thought. It's probably the surface texture or something. But you guys see that little decorative ball right there on top? That's where the rest of my paint did not go to. But look how cute these little feet on it. I honestly don't even know what to put on it other than a little tiny, like a decorative ball or a little figurine of some sort. But this is the cutest little thing. Now, here's my idea, because obviously I had a lot of leftover paint and sand, and I do not like to waste items. And I was like, well, where am I going to store a bunch of goop? So I went and I got some leftover stems. Those are stems that I've cut off other bushes. And then these are some skewers that I've used for other painting projects. So I'm going to glue them in because I don't want them to move around while I'm painting them. Here I'm just showing you that I still have a lot left over. So at first I started to apply it with a popsicle stick or craft stick, whatever you want to call it. It's a popsicle stick. And it was taking a little bit too long. Now, this is sped up a lot. You guys can tell I've been speeding up a lot of my work, so we're not taking hours and hours to do the same stuff. But this was getting tedious, and my left hand was hurting. So I just went all in and just started grabbing it and smearing it on like I was making some sort of like cake pop. Man, it was like full on just getting elbow deep in that stuff. So you'll see me just rub it in there, and then I'm grabbing more of it, and it really is going on like it's stucco or spackle. It was kind of actually fun, and it was a little bit, cathartic. If that's the right word, I don't know. I hope it's the right word. Anyways, I'm like, oh geez, Whitney, you're messy. I used basically up all the majority of it. It's about 2 coats. I dried them a little bit in between, but look how they look when they're dry. It looks like stucco, and it makes me so happy. So here now, I'm just going to cut off the stems. I'm not going to try to pull them out because it's going to end up ripping a hole in it. So just cut the stems off, and you won't see them. So I got 2 kinds of twine, but first off, guess what we're going to do? Shocker. I know you guys are going to be so surprised. I know you already see it. We're going to dry brush on there. So I'm going to take that same folk art paint, and I'm going to put a white pattern on it. Some of them, I honestly didn't know how heavy-handed I needed to be. This one got a little bit more than the other ones, and then some of the ones I just kind of did no pattern, just go at it and have fun and stop when your heart's happy. You know what I'm saying? And then we're going to put twine around them, and that was my idea for like these little decorative, like my grandma used to have these rattan balls, but I got this cream twine out, but I didn't like it at all. So what did I go with? Those are the Dollar Tree ones. You get a 3-pack of the Dollar Tree twine or jute twine. In the automotive section, and that stuff is very thin. I mean, sometimes it's got its imperfections, but I'm just wrapping it around here in a little pattern. I was kind of pretending like I was wrapping up a yarn ball. You know how like your yarn unwinds, and then you're like, great, well now I have to spend the next 6 hours winding this back into a ball, otherwise I'm going to have the biggest knot of my life. Well, yeah, I have a lot of experience doing that because I've made a lot of blankets and things in my life. So I was just pretending like this was me starting a yarn ball. And so that first one, I was like, okay, well, now it's kind of looking like a circus ball or an Easter egg. So I just put one, all those others were vertical. And so I was like, let me put one horizontal around the outside. I'm trying to explain my thought process, but even then, you guys, I don't know what I was thinking. And it's hard for me to try to explain something that's kind of just like, chaotic to begin with. So I just kind of just wrapped them. So for the second one, you'll see there, I only went around twice. So 2 different ways in that one, so that one has a little bit less. And the one I'm holding right now, I'm going just all kinds of every which way. No pattern whatsoever. Just take it and run with it. And so this one's just a little bit, it's a beautiful nightmare. That's what we'll call this one. So there they are. And they're the cutest little just shelf topper decorative items. And then I didn't have to waste the paint. So here is my, I didn't waste something. And also, if a lot of us are a lot of like, I know you guys have this, you've done something and you don't want to waste it. So the problem is that I can't put paint in somewhere and store it. So with the paint and the sand, it turned out so great. And I'm actually so proud of these. And they complement everything that I made today because of the same colors. So tell me, you guys, what you think. All right. Now here's our last DIY. Now this one is a Dollar Tree wooden box. I got a Dollar Tree cube of styrofoam and 4 of these little 2x3 frames with a little galvanized metal and a clip in it. We're going to make a little decorative holder. So my first idea was when I was in the store. Oh, look how perfect this styrofoam fits in the lid. Literally perfect. It is a snug fit like a glove. So, of course, I'm playing around in the store. I went and I got these picture frames because the galvanized metal in them is perfect. And I'm taking, I basically, to prep them, I'm taking the clip off the front, and then I took out the metal so that I could push the hole in a little bit, because that's going to hold, that hole will, wow, you guys, the hole will show. So then I also took the stand off the back, and then I'm going to flip that around so it doesn't show once I put it back together. So now we have a clean piece here. Now we do have a hole in the front, but we're going to cover that. So I need to do that to all 4 frames. So here we have all 4 frames. They've all been prepped. And now what I'm doing is I'm going to glue the frames to the lid of the box. And I'm going to do it in such a way that I need to make sure those holes are at the top, because we're going to cover the holes with cute little bows. So first side of the lid down on the first frame. I did get a little off, or a little crooked. And I also think that when I was holding it together inside the store in the cart and everything was jumbled around, that I wasn't really paying attention, because this is not an exact perfect fit like I thought it was. I mean, I've seen a lot of people make some different, containers out of picture frames, and I thought that I could get around having to make the bottom out of a piece of wood or foam board or popsicle sticks. But in this event, it's not really a fail, because I did get my bucket of junk out, my little garbage bucket, and I found that right there is a piece of a paint stick that I had cut off. So this ends up being the perfect thickness for the amount that I'm missing. So I get my miter shears out. Those are, by the way, amazing. You guys, if you need a set, take a look at my Amazon shop. They are there and they are perfect. So I cut that little piece of the paint stick in half, and it is the perfect amount of space needed in order to fill the bottom there, so that my picture frame has a surface to adhere to. Otherwise, it would have been really crooked, and then it just wouldn't have come together. And my idea for this was living in my brain, and I needed it to come to life. So then the last one there, now we have a perfect fit. And you can see down in there how much I was actually off. And again, if you're standing in the store, things like this happen. I don't have a tape measure, and I am definitely an imperfect human, so it is what it is. But I think I was able to get a good workaround to where we still have a box. So now I'm taking the other part of the box, and it fits obviously perfectly in there because that was the lid we made it on. And then instead of putting that in, I realized that it was too deep. So if I put the box upside down in there and I glue my styrofoam to that box, it raises it up high enough to where I won't have to fill a lot of it with empty space or bags or, a Spanish moss or anything. So here, of course, you guys, just like everything else, a lot of these things are all going to match, and you're going to see me do a lot of repetitive things, but every project looks a little bit different. So yes, there's always a lot of dry brushing. Yes, there might be the same colors. And a lot of times it's just pleasing to the eye when a lot of things match. But of course, dry brush every side, and then of course, don't forget the top, because I'm not going to glue the flowers in, so that you can change this out with the season or with anything else. But I did want to cover the bottom. So I have these 50 sheets of cardstock from Hobby Lobby. I paid half price for that. It said $8. I paid $4. So I have 50 sheets, 5 different colors. I have 10 of each. And I'm going to put this wood pattern on the bottom to cover up my little oopsie there. So of course it's fighting me. It's like it doesn't want to come out of the package. So I chose the gray color. And you'll see there's 5 colors. So I chose one of the a lighter to medium gray. And I'm just going to use this to cover the bottom. Now, I'm not going to Mod Podge it. I'm not going to seal it, because again, this is all decor that's meant for inside my home or inside your home, whichever you choose. But it's not going to be in a high traffic area. It's not going to get a lot of movement. And it's really just there. You don't even have to cover this if you don't want to. I personally did not like the llama. It's a cute llama, sure. But I didn't want it to be apparent if I should pick it up. It's just one of those personal preference things. Cover the stuff if you want to, and don't if you don't want to, because hey, in the end of the day, it's yours, and what makes you happy, you don't have to answer to anybody, right? So I got it cut, And I'm using a scrapbook adhesive that I've used for, it's an AdTech adhesive. It's very good. There is no turning back if you place it down, by the way. And there I've covered my bottom. So you can't really see, you can't see any of the mistakes. So here we're ready to move on to our bows. So I did a finger bow. Now this is not slowed down, but if you need to take a peek at it, you can actually adjust that on your PC and you can go step by step. So I did 3 finger bows. I had 2 already made, so I had to make 2 more. And those other 2 bows were in my garbage bucket, believe that or not. I always have a lot of finger bows just because I like to practice in my off time, just to keep, to keep things good. And, practice makes perfect. So at some point I'll be able to do these with my eyes closed and not even worry about it. But yeah, I practice those things from time to time. So once you get all 4 of them, we are gluing these cute little bows to those holes where we took the clips out. Now again, this is the farmhouse ribbon from Dollar Tree, which I love, and I have not seen it at my stores out here since originally it first came out. Now I bought 6 rolls of it, but I'm running out, guys. So I need to find more of this. I need more of this in my life. Otherwise, I am going to get desperate and I will buy whatever the minimum is off their website. I did that with those glass candlesticks and I have 36 of them now. That's just, that's life. But look how cute it is. And even just that by itself, it's cute. You could put, spoons and stuff in it in the kitchen. You don't have to put an arrangement in this, but I'm adding some Dollar Tree Spanish moss. And guess what we find? A giant stick this time, because apparently it's a Dollar Tree bag of Spanish sticks. I'm telling you guys, my last 3 bags of Spanish moss has had more sticks in it than moss. So, whatever, we're working with it. So I went more softer tones again because we're going to keep with the same theme, and I got some leftover bushes of eucalyptus. This is 2 kinds. I believe this one is from Michael's. Yeah, that's a Michael's tag. It's really bad that I can tell by seeing the tag from far away. Michael's tags are long and thin. They usually say Ashland on them, and then the Hobby Lobby ones are like little circular ones. But anyways, so ignore me that I did glue this one in because I had just started into like muscle memory. But in any event, then I just start placing them in because we are going to change these out with the seasons. And at some point with these arrangements I'm making, guys, that I'm not gluing things in, I'm going to do a video where I take things apart and I remake them for the season. So you can actually say, yes, we're creating a base that's reusable that you will be able to change out technically for whatever season, or even if you change the colors or your theme in your home. These are pretty universal bases. So I only added a few extra from this other bush here. But again, it's eucalyptus, but it's just a little bit different. Just looks a little bit different. And you guys, I don't know what this is, but this is also an Ashland. So that's Michael's. It is an old Ashland one. I only had, 5 there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I only had 5 little stems left on that bush. So I knew with the white flowers, and it had a softer green to it, that it would be perfect for the arrangement. So I just added that in there too. And I just needed one more thing, so I went and I grabbed, again, I only had 4 little sticks left of this. This is a boxwood pick from Walmart. It's a little bit more of a muted green, but it is a deeper green, and I loved it. So I wanted to add just one more piece of texture in there. And I just added those 4 stems in. And I think that, and of course, we can reuse all this since I didn't glue it in. And it's going to be repurposed, and it's going to look so good. But for now, look at the green, fluffy boxwood. Looks great with the eucalyptus, and those little double finger bows make me so happy, especially when for the smaller ribbon, I cut the tails at a diagonal, but I cut them at a diagonal where the points come together in the middle. And for some reason, that style with that pattern, it just makes my heart happy. I just, I get that warm fuzzy feeling, and I can't help but just smile. So these are the things that make you happy, then keep going with it. And I love the fact that I can share all this with you guys. I really appreciate every single one of you spending your time with me, watching my videos. And of course, your continued support is always refreshing. So give me a like, a subscribe, even just a small, emoji or a heart or a hi in the comments. Every little bit counts to help my channel get recognized. YouTube sees it and then suggests me to more people and then helps me grow. So I appreciate all of you guys. Even just being here with watch time is more than I could ever ask for. I also have a coffee page, so if you should want to send more support, or if you ever want to buy me a coffee, if you like anything or you learn anything from me and you want to buy me a coffee, I do have a coffee page, and the link is in my description as well as my comment below. That is more than welcome. It's never required, but always appreciated, anything you guys do. And again, if you can't, I love you anyways. You're here, and that's all that matters. So thank you guys for sharing your time with me. Thank you for everything you guys have done. these 4 projects were so much fun. I can feel that, spark inside me again. And I'm definitely not stopping. I want to keep this consistency going. So thank you guys so much. It really means a great deal to me that you guys are so happy to say, oh, we're so happy to see that you're back, Whitney. Thank you for sharing. Love your ideas. Anything counts. Even you don't even have to make a comment. Just the fact that you're here is all we need. So again, guys, these projects, all farmhouse, and they all ended up gray again. And I've never thought gray was like one of my colors, but in any event, you may see some of these things up for sale. Of course, not my little cotton thing, because that is, a special to my heart. My sister made that for me. But you will see some future things. Maybe I'm going to commission her to get me some more stuff. And you may see some stuff. Here is my coffee page. I will be selling items on my coffee page now. I've got way too many items and not enough space. And I know you guys know that pain. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves and each other. You're doing a great job of that so far. And many, many hugs. Happy crafting. I love you, and I'll see you guys in the next video, okay? Bye-bye.